What up, guys? SmartWater here for my second video of the bankroll challenge. I currently just moved up in stakes from 5 PLO to 10. In 3 days, I took my bankroll from 25 to 100, which was the point where I said I would move up. And I played one sesh at the new stakes, and this was it. 57 minutes, 94 hands. There's only one table, sometimes two, going on, and it was for a profit of $14.11. So my current bankroll is right around 115. And here I'm gonna go over a few, another 5 hands from the session that I thought were interesting. Talk about some of my mistakes, some things maybe I did well, and yeah. So let's get into the first one. The first one is this hand. Um, Starts video, center this. Alright, so definitely a decent hand to open on the button. I just decided to just flat. Um, you can definitely argue a raise though. Definitely not a you know bad thing to do there. So here we flop full house and the best possible hand, and it's going to check around to us. And here is the main difference between this and Hold'em. I just don't see any reason to not start trying to build a pot. You are going to get called by, against against 3 other people, I think it's very likely that at least one of them will come along. They could easily, somebody could have the K7. Let's just pray to God somebody has the last two fives. Nut flush draw, pair and a flush draw, stuff like that. So definitely think building a pot here is the way to go. So I bet about 2/3 the pot. And it folds 275, who then raises. So he pots it. Here, obviously, very happy about this move. And I think this is one of the few spots in PLO where it is okay to just flat. I don't really see many bad turn cards coming. For example, he only limped in pre-flop, so you can take aces, kings out of his range most likely. And so if one of those come, it doesn't really most likely give him a higher full house, unless he has the 7. But I really think that there's not too many bad turn cards. So I decided to just flat here. And it comes to jack. So obviously now we're losing 2 pocket jacks, jack 7, but still nothing that I think we should be worried about. So here he bets 80. And it's a smaller bet, but I think he's just, in my opinion, I took it as almost like a value-ish bet. And I figured that if you're willing to raise on the flop and then lead out again on the turn, that he probably has a 7. And I decided to let's just try to go for max value here. And I raised pot, and he ends up folding. So not really sure what he had here. I don't see many people at these stakes folding the 7. So I'm not sure. Maybe nut flush draw and a pair. I'm still not quite sure about what he has. But I do think that this is one of the few spots on the flop where your hand might be too strong to 4-bet. I just feel when he raises pot here, he probably does have a 7 a lot of the time. And then I feel like there's just not enough turn cards that really that scare me. So I think that's the correct move, definitely. Alright, and that's hand number 1. Hand number 2 is a queen where we lost some money. So that would be this one. Alright, so hand number 2 I want to go over. Obviously with a super strong, this hand was very weird and pretty indicative of low stakes. But here with aces, single suited, but very with 2 face cards, really strong hand, and I'm willing to just get it all in pre. And I'm trying to build as big of a pot as I can. So With the limper, I'm able to pot it a little bigger than usual, and we get a shove from somebody who is very short stack. We get another shove from almost an equally as short stack, and then the big blind calls. So really building up a pot, and bam, we get the under the gun person who calls as well. So here, I already know that no matter what, I'm going three-way to the flop, and I think that's already enough people. So I'm not putting on either of these two on very strong hands. I think that he would have raised already, and that he would raise as well if he had a really strong hand. But in general, I'm not concerned. I have such a strong hand that I'm willing to just get all the money in. So I decided to pot it. Hopefully, getting one of these guys to come along, but if not, we're going three ways with most likely the best hand. So we get them to fold, and obviously they have complete rags. But here it shows where the wonderful thing about PLO. I have aces, top pair. This guy has, top pair, not much else going for him, and he's got 28% chance to win. So this guy's got eights and fives, pair of fives, pair of eights, backdoor draws, I guess. Not really. It doesn't really have much. He's got a gut shot. Not, hearts don't matter. So just shows how close PLO hands are on the flop. Flop equity, and then turn equity is huge. Usually it doesn't jump that drastically, but you can see how just one card, especially the turn card, can really change equity. So here, 89% now with top set, and I'm really only losing to a few cards here, and that would be one of them. So he hits his gut shot for a pot, he gets majority of it, and I get a little. So unfortunate situation, but really got our money in really well, and 50% against two people, and hopefully next time we can bring that one home. That was actually one of the first hands that I played. So here's the next one we're gonna go over, and this is heads up on the other. I was not two tabling. I was trying to get more people to sit down at this one. So we're heads up, and I complete with pretty much just a suited ace. Nothing, that's pretty much all the hand has going for itself. And we flop top pair and a gut shot, backdoor hearts, and he leads pot into us, and I think our hand is just too strong to fold heads up. So, and boom, we turn the nuts, or I meant the second nut. Sorry, we're losing to 7-4, but obviously a really good card for us, and he bets pot here. So I think this is a spot where just a flat is a really good play. I think a few things could be happening. We could be drawing completely dead to 7-4. He could also have 4-2 with a flush draw, and then he's just free rolling. I think we have a lot of showdown value, so I really don't see if we raise here and then we get shoved on, if we really want to call. I mean, yes, a lot of the time we're going to, not a lot of the time, some of the times we're going to have the best hand, but he's just going to have so many outs usually. So when he bets pot, I decide to just call, and the 7 comes. So the 7 is definitely a good card and a bad card. Now, I think it'll just slow him down in general. So when he checks here, I just check behind, thinking that I have showdown value, maybe 2 pair, 2 pair, pretty much is it. Maybe a set, but besides that, just a bluff catcher. And I think I should have been firing on this some of the times. I think that he would not be checking if he had a high flush, obviously. So I really think I might have missed it, but missed a bet here to win it. But I do think that my showdown value was enough to just check and try to take down the pot, which I do. and I see that he has a smaller flush. So, yeah. Let's see. 2 more hands. Okay, so here we have Ace 663 single suited with 2 limpers in front of us. Really, we are trying to flop a set. We have the nut flush draw and position. That's what our hand has going for us. So I think it's a perfectly fine hand to limp in behind, especially when your big blinds are not raising often. Pre-flop raise 0, pre-flop raise 1. So really was not too concerned with them. You know, we were going to get to see a flop. So here, 5 ways to the flop, and it comes Queen Jack 2 double suited. So we have the nut flush draw, and this guy's going to lead out. It's going to get a call, and we continue. I think here with a pair and the nut flush draw, it's perfectly fine to continue, especially multi-way. And we're going to get him to call as well. And boom, hit the nuts. We get a check when he makes his flush. Check, check. And I'm going to lead out for about 3/4 of the pot. And we get shoved on. So this is a hand where obviously a really bad play by him. He's pretty much going to be drawing dead most of the time. In his mind, he thinks, I have a flush draw. On the flop it was fine, a pair and a flush draw. Still, that flush draw is so small that this is pretty much the outcome you're going to get most of the time. So it goes fold, fold. We obviously call, and that's that. We have him drawing dead on the turn. So just a poor play by him. Obviously not a very experienced PLO player, which I am not either. But in our last hand, we have Ace Queen Queen 7 single suited, and we are going to 5-handed, perfectly good enough to open with. We get called, and called. So everybody comes along, and we flop the nuts, top set. So here is a hand where I think is what makes PLO so great, is that this guy, Crazy Postal, flops bottom 2 pair and the second nut flush draw. In his mind, a monster and pretty, obviously a super strong hand. And he's got 1% equity. Here, just a single nut flush draw and backdoor straight possibilities has 31%. So it's pretty insane that 2 pair with the second nut flush draw against top set, or against the set in general. No, sorry, top set has such small equity. So it goes check, and he's going to lead for half the pot. And honestly, don't blame him. Very strong hand. And here with everybody in the pot, I think it's perfectly timed to just start building the pot. And I pot it, and we get raised on from just a bare nut flush draw. Folds, and then he's going to come along, obviously, will complete. So the hand pretty much plays itself out. Not a huge fan of this play, but nut flush draw, backdoor, straight possibilities, and with 31% equity, really not the worst. This guy, pretty brutal to have bottom 2 and second nut and only have 1% equity, but it's PLO, and we get them both. We get this guy went from 31 down to 0 when I hit my full house, and he's drawing to the last 8. It does not come, and we take down a big pot, and yeah, so that is the end of the 5 hands. Those ones were more kind of played themselves, but I thought they were the bigger hands of the day. And that's the graph. Yep. Hope you enjoyed.